Hello, I'm Dennis with Wallbeds. Today we're going to shoot a video on how to uninstall one of our spring lift beds. But I wanted to go over the tools that you'll need first. First, you're going to need a power screwdriver with a Phillips bit. You'll need a couple of Phillips screwdrivers, one for you and one for your assistant. And then you're going to need a 13mm wrench, either two wrenches, a socket and a wrench. You're going to need basically two 13mm and a 6-foot ladder. So I've got my assistant. This is a two-person job, so we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, first we're going to go ahead and open the bed and remove the mattress if you have a mattress. This one doesn't have a mattress in it. And you're going to need your assistant to hold the bed down because it will want to go up with the mattress off of it. It'll just want to rise. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to, there's a couple of nut and bolt combinations here that hold the mechanism to the rails. There's a nut and bolt here and a nut and bolt here. And what I'm going to do is completely remove the nut and bolt from this second position first. So it's right back here near the front of the face frame. And this is the 13mm nut and bolt combination. So I'm just going to go ahead and completely remove that on both sides. Now we'll remove the other side too. Okay, now with the first nut and bolt removed on both sides, I'm going to move to this one that has a slot in the lifting arm. And this one I'm just going to loosen. It's important that you do not take this one out because the mechanism's under tremendous pressure right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to loosen it until the head of the nut is about even with the end of the bolt or a little bit less. I'm just going to loosen it so that there will be some room to slide that nut and bolt out of that slot. So we'll go ahead and loosen both sides. Okay, now I've moved to the other side of the bed because I think it'll be easier to view. You'll notice on the mechanism itself, there's this arm, and it's on both sides, and it has kind of a socket in there. That socket is designed to rest against this collar that looks like a mushroom here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to raise the bed up while I've got this little arm being held, and I'm just going to make sure that socket rests right on that mushroom right there. Okay, now the bed won't go up because the mechanism is being held by those two little arms. And then we're going to go ahead and push the bed up like we were going to close it and start to lift it up and out. Now we're just going to move this out of the way. This is ready to move just like it is. It's just the bed face. So the only thing that's left up against the wall now will be the cabinet. Now during the installation, you will have used a tube like this to set the springs. If you're going to just move the bed, it can actually be moved with those arms in that position. But if you're uninstalling the face to add or remove a spring, you're going to need to use this part. If you don't have one, you can reach out to us on our 800 number and we can sell you another one. But if you're just going to move it, you can move it like this. If you want to release this arm, you're going to need this tube that slips down over the arm. And then I'm just going to pull forward and it will release that arm off of that post. And then you can go ahead and release that spring. As we start to remove this cabinet from the wall, you'll notice that this particular bed has a crown mold. Not all of our beds have a crown mold, but if it has a crown mold, that's going to have to be released first. So I'm going to climb up here on this ladder. And there will be screws in this part of the crown mold that just hold it to the cabinet. So I'm just going to go ahead and release the screws that are holding it in place. And once that's released, the crown mold can just be lifted off. Now the next step will be to release the actual cabinet from the wall. You'll notice that this bed had lights. You can leave your lights in. You just have to unplug them. But what you'll want to do is just go ahead and release this L bracket from the wall. You should have 3 of them that are holding the cabinet to the wall. And at that point, the cabinet will be loose from the wall. And you'll just want to make sure that it doesn't tip over. I'm just going to grab all my tools off of this and then step back down. Now we're just going to go ahead and lay this cabinet right down on the floor. You can remove these L brackets from the bed if you want. You'll need to reposition them as you reinstall them if you're going to reinstall them against a different wall. And then we're going to start removing the headboard and all the components that hold this cabinet together. I'm just going to take my Phillips screwdriver and just turn this back until as you look down in there, you can see that a channel opens up as you rotate that cam. So I'm just going to rotate these back counterclockwise about a half a turn, and it will release it so it can be released from the connecting bolt protruding from the sideboards here. We'll just go ahead and take that out. And then we'll do the same thing down here on this rear stretcher. I'm just going to release those cam fittings. There's just 2 of them on this one. We'll release that. You'll notice too, there's 2 of them right down here that hold this front stretcher with the base mold on. About a half a turn. I'm just kind of watching those cam fittings. You can see it kind of opens up where it'll have clear passage from those connecting bolts. Now we'll just lift this sideboard and remove that. And then lastly, we'll just remove these cam fittings from this bridge board up here. There's 4 on one side, 3 on the other. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn those. That'll release. And then I'll do the other side. And that will be the process for uninstalling or taking apart one of our spring lift beds. If you have any questions, give us a call at the toll-free number at the bottom of this page. And thank you for your business.